All right. I'm excited about the opportunity for our team to go out and compete in the SEC conference tournament. It's always good when you get a chance to go out and play another game of basketball, and that's why I want our guys to kind of look at this opportunity. Obviously, you got the first game against South Carolina, but then beyond that, just getting a chance to go out and play basketball again. And I think any young man that comes in to play college basketball wants the opportunity to continue his season, and this gives him an opportunity to do that. Then also just want to give special recognition to Gavin Ware and Craig Sword for being named to the SEC All-Freshman team. I tell you, I would have been surprised if two of our guys didn't make it. I think Fred Thomas probably can receive serious consideration for that honor as well too. But for two of our guys to make that shows that we have a bright future here at Mississippi State, and those guys can hopefully come from being like SEC All-Freshman guys to all SEC guys in their future. So that's it.
When you go into an SEC tournament like this, a lot of people say it's wide open or whatever, and obviously you have a very young team. You've had some struggles, but you've won 2 of the last 3. Do you guys talk about, hey, let's see if we can make a run, or do you just take it one game at a time because of these guys?
I'm an old adage, one game at a time. I mean, there is no next game if you don't win the game in front of you. And it's been proven that South Carolina can beat us, but it's also been proven that we can beat South Carolina. So I don't think we can look past now South Carolina. But I just think, like, everybody talks about the SEC tournament being wide open. I mean, I don't really know what that means. But I don't know if it's wide open for everybody. But I'm looking for the opportunity for our guys to go out and see what we can do against South Carolina. We'll take care of that first.
In the last game, y'all played against them, Gavin, I think you only had 2 shots. So what do y'all need to do a little different to get him more involved this time?
Well, it's twofold. I mean, he has to do a better job of posting and getting opportunities to get the ball to him. But I think the most important thing is because of the way they pressure so much, I thought that we turned away from looking downhill, I called it. We're looking out to pass the basketball instead of looking down. And so I thought he had some posting opportunities that our guys passed because they couldn't fight the pressure of South Carolina. So we got to do a better job of fighting that pressure and being able to see him in the post, because there were some times that he was open in the post and we had our back to him because of the pressure that South Carolina applied. But I thought also sometimes, like, Gavin Ware was posting way off the block and there wasn't enough room to post feed.
You've seen them twice. Obviously, you have a pretty good feel for South Carolina. What's the main factors for?
Well, I think the first thing is containing Bruce Ellington. I think he does a really good job of getting into the paint, not just in transition, but also in their half-court setting. I thought we did a pretty decent job of that in the second game. I thought he got a lot of baseline drives, and we got to do a better job of keeping him off the baseline drives. I think the second thing is obviously our defense on Brenton Williams. I think he started to turn the corner as being a scorer for them, and I thought that we were very sound guarding him. Obviously got 38 points. The other thing that we did a terrible job of is we fouled him too much. I think for the most part we've done a really good job of, like, getting to the free throw line a lot more than our opponents. And in this particular game, we set them to the free throw line way too much.
Obviously, this will be your first SEC tournament, but with Jalen and Wendell both out, I don't think you got a guy on the roster. I don't think Roquest played a minute last year. I mean, this will be new for your entire team. I mean, how do you prepare them?
Well, I tell you what, the good thing about it is you always play an exempt tournament, you know, in the season. So our guys have been out to Maui and they've been in a tournament situation, so it's not the first time they've played in a tournament. Now, this is a little different because you know you're playing for something. But you would hope that they can go back to the experience they had in Maui and understand, like, they got 3 straight games, 4 straight games, whatever it might be. And so they have some sort of tournament experience.
You've got 2 guys that made all freshmen, all SEC freshmen. Craig Sword, I think, averaged 19.5 points, 4.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds his last 2 games. Mm-hmm. What does that say about Craig? I mean, how far he's come from when he first got here to where he is now? And do you think that's just the tip of the iceberg of what he can accomplish here?
Well, I think the one thing that everybody saw with Craig Sword is just his athletic ability when he first set foot on the court. That had nothing to do with coaching, you know. I think what you want to see as a program, as a fan, is like player development. And I think anybody can see that Gavin Ware, Craig Sword, Fred Thomas, those guys got better throughout the season. And what you want in a program and what you'll see most of the time is guys make their biggest jumps as a basketball player in their off season. And so, like, what we want is now for those 3 freshmen to come in and make huge jumps and huge improvements. So by their sophomore year, they'll be all SEC caliber type players. You want to see a guy like Colin Borkert, you know, even though he's a junior college guy, which kind of gets, this is his first year competing at Division I level. You saw him continually get better as a basketball player. So you want to see a guy like Trevante Bloodman and Colin Borkert make huge jumps in their offseason, their first time in the offseason in the Division I program. So to me, it's all about individual player development. And that's what we kind of hang our hat on, is like we want guys to get better, because there's no way our team is going to get better if guys individually don't get better. So I'm really happy with the way Craig Sword has continued to progress as a basketball player, but just getting him to like reduce his turnovers. You know, that's been the biggest thing that I've seen the difference with him, is like his assist to turnover ratio in these past few games has really turned around. He still turns the basketball over too much, but he's getting 9 assists, 6 assists, and those are positive things for our basketball team.
Since the suspension, and you also talked to Ruffy about effort as well. He's come back 3 double-digit scoring games, but he's also rebounding better. Is that just effort, or is he getting smarter about the game too?
No, it's effort for him. For him, like, he has to be an energy guy. That's what he has to hang his hat on, is coming in and being a Dennis Rodman type guy, as far as like just flying around, getting offensive rebound, getting defensive rebounds. His ability to switch ball screens and have the athletic ability to guard a point guard without us worrying about like him getting beat on that switch. All the little things that he can do is getting 50-50 balls, loose balls, you know, just flying around. That's what he brings to our team, and has to be his identity. So he just got back to doing some of the things he did, you know, in the first few basketball games that he played. And it was a significant decrease as far as like his hustle chart, you know, in between that time. And I think now he's starting to see his role. But, you know, the thing I don't want is I don't want a suspension in order to make that happen. You know, what you want is like you want a young man to be mature enough to understand like what he brings to the team and what he brings to the table and go out and do those things. The sadder part is about it is that a suspension had to bring that about.
I guess the natural question is, if when you're in this tournament format, if you get past day 1, at some point, obviously your depth is going to be a bigger factor with so few guys. How do you address that, if at all?
Well, I don't think you address it. I mean, our guys have played a lot of games, you know, with only 6 scholarship guys. And so, like, to kind of bemoan the fact and keep going talking about it, I mean, we're not going to get another scholarship guy. We're not going to get more bodies, so what's the point of actually talking about it? They know that. They know that they might have to play consecutive games, you know, with just 6 scholarship guys. But, hey, it's all part of it.
Where's Wendell with his rehab?
He's still not able to do anything on the court yet. He's progressing as far as like getting full range of motion and being in the weight room, but actual impact things on that knee he's still not able to do. Even if we were not bringing him back, you know, he's going to use this year as a red shirt. I seriously doubt if he'd have been able to play at this point in time. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not all that, but it doesn't seem to me like he'd be able to play. He hasn't done anything on the court or 5-on-5. So, and I think, to be honest with you, our medical staff and training staff is taking it slow because of the fact they know he's going to come back.
He has definitely committed that he will return.
Yeah, I mean, if Wendell does everything he's supposed to do, as far as like staying in line with the things that we want from a basketball player, both on and off the court, then my anticipation is that he'll be back. But if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, then he won't be back.
He has to enroll in grad school to do so, or how's his academic status?
No, he doesn't have to be enrolled in grad school because he still needed hours. So, like, he'll still be an undergraduate student now. By the second semester, he may be taking grad courses, but for the first semester, at the very least, he'll still be an undergrad student.
I don't know, I guess you know this, Falou, of your signees, Falou his team won a national championship, Travis Daniels won the state championship, and I think IJ was in the semifinals. I know they're bringing a winning attitude, but did you know that Travis, I think there were 11 players that played 10 or more minutes on his team, and he was second steals, blocks, assists, third in scoring, first in rebounds. Did you expect that? Is that kind of what you expect from him, a complete player?
Yeah. Well, the thing with the way that Shelton State Community College plays, they play a lot of guys. And so they play, 10 or 11 guys in the rotation. So there's not one guy who's going to play 28 minutes or 30 minutes on that basketball team. What I was looking for in Travis is being a complete player. And that's what I saw. I didn't go in there looking at his stats and trying to figure out is he going to be a big stat stuffer guy, or he's going to have a breakout season this sophomore season at Shelton State. When I went in there and I evaluated him, I saw a guy who could dribble, pass, and shoot. And I know it seems like a simple thing, but at his height, and I believe he's a true 6'8", I think he can play the 3 or the 4 and have him come in and have an impact because he can do all 3 of those things. So I think that Travis Daniels is a really good player. And I think some of the stats that he's doing at Shelton State, he'll come in at Mississippi State and have those same stats. Now, I don't think he's a guy who's going to come in and get 20 points a game, but I think he'll matriculate into Mississippi State and be that all-around basketball player he is right now at Shelton State.